Voting is a civic duty. Let's register on the electoral list. This is a message from Equinoxe Television.
Good evening, dear viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. First, our top stories. Tragedy strikes Buea near Buea in Buea subdivision last night as a township taxi driver and another civilian lost their lives in a brutal attack. Eyewitnesses reported hearing a burst of gunfire that lasted several minutes, followed by assailant's swift departure. And also, we'll take you still talking about security threats. Idabato Divisional Officer Roland Ewane has finally been released after being held captive for over 5 months. He was kidnapped by pirates in October 2024, along with Ismail Togo, a staff member of the Idabato Council, whose whereabouts still remains unknown. Those are top stories. The news in full in a jiffy. Thank you so much for choosing Equinoxe Television for presentation. I am Immaculate Fogwe. 2 people were killed in Buea subdivision, including a taxi driver identified as Jude, who was allegedly confronted by separatist fighters on Monday. In the wake of his death, taxi drivers are urging the government to provide them with security as they strive to keep the town bustling despite the ongoing ghost town phenomenon. Smagic and Gabriel reports.
Another sad day for taxi drivers in Buea, Fako division of the Southwest region. A taxi driver by name Jude met his end when he went head-to-head with alleged separatist fighters in Kawa entrance at Buea neighborhood. According to sources, Jude was heading home after he closed for the day when he met with these alleged separatist fighters on a bike returning from Buea, where they had allegedly carried out an operation. On the spot, Jude was shot on the head and the bullet ended its course on another man who is a car washer at mile 18. Before this attack on Jude, Buea has been calm and many inhabitants are requesting for security to be tightened up every Monday for them to go about their daily activities.
Jesus. I'll be having more details on what exactly happened in Buea yesterday in the second part of the news. Before coming to that, Roland Ewane, divisional officer for Idabato, who was held captive for 5 months and 17 days, has been transported to Yaoundé after being received by Southwest Regional authorities in Idinao. His release has brought an end to uncertainty surrounding his fate. Rex Afona, Southwest correspondent, tells us more.
He is now free, though not as sound as he used to be prior to his abduction. Ewane Roland, divisional officer for Idabato, was received this morning at Idinao by a delegation led by the Secretary General at the Governor's Office of the Southwest Region, Gilbert Acha Kwenti. The administrative official, who has spent 168 days passing through inhumane treatment from pirates who are said to have come from neighboring Nigeria, took off the same morning for Yaoundé. The whereabouts of Etongo Ismail, a council worker at the Idabato municipality, who was also kidnapped alongside the divisional officer, is still unknown. Few days after his abduction, the pirates placed a heavy financial and material demand, plus the release of some of their colleagues who are being held in detention centers in Buea. Close to 24 hours after Ewane Roland, divisional officer for Idabato, regained his freedom, no official communique has been released on how he obtained his freedom.
Now to something else. A cry against injustice. A cry for justice. Prince Charles Abi Enonchong is sending distress calls to the judicial hierarchy over a matter pitting him and the State Council at the Court of First Instance in Bonanjo over one of the properties of his family. He says his rights are being violated upon by the latter. Babla Jonathan has greater details in this report.
Prince Charles Abi Enonchong, next of kin of his father, Dr. Chief Henry Ndifo Abi Enonchong, decries the abuse of his right as owner and manager of his family heritage. This building in the heart of the Aqua commercial area of Cameroon's economic nerve center, Douala, is part of the inheritance under his management. Its management seems to be slipping off his hands.
The problem is that the procureur of the Court of First Instance, Aristide Efudu, has taken my property. I got a judgment to expel Techno. Techno decided to leave in execution of my judgment. When Techno left, I came to the place to take over the place. People came to stop me from taking over the place. As a result, the place was sealed. I was just surprised to hear that the procureur of the Court of First Instance has now put the place on rent. The seals were removed and the place has been put on rent. I asked the commissioner of 4e arrondissement why she went and removed the seals. She said it's the procureur who asked her to remove the seal and give the keys to certain individuals who have not taken over the place.
He's pressing for justice from a justice system which he sees as the tyrant.
I spoke to the procureur that under what title did you use to take over the place? He was incapable. I said the commissioner of Court of First of 4e arrondissement said you gave instructions. What title do you use? Do you have a judgment? Nothing. He has no judgment. Is the land title in your name? No.
In our quest to have the other side of the story, we spoke to the State Council at the Court of First Instance in Bonanjo, and in a telephone conversation, he declined commenting on the matter.
Now we talk politics. Cameroon's electoral body, ECHU, is facing criticism from political actors for the link provided to allow Cameroonians to check their voter registration information. The link has been rendered inaccessible, fueling suspicion that ECHU is trying to conceal double registrations, which have already been reported by some registered voters. Innocent Aze has the details.
The measure taken by Elections Cameroon to publish a consultation link on its website to enable registered Cameroonians to verify their names and other informations seems not to be meeting its objective. Some political actors say they have received complaints from citizens the link is inaccessible. According to Guy Loranquam, Cameroonians have not had the opportunity to verify whether it was effectively on the electoral list or not. The general outcry is for publication of the national electoral list. It is like ECHU does not want opposition leaders to have this list, thus impossible for them to determine whether there are double registrations or not. Guy Loranquam stresses the necessity for the publication of the national electoral list to Cameroonians if ECHU claims to be an independent and transparent entity. With the delay and justifications advanced deemed vague by political actors, Guy Loranquam suspects ECHU is working on the path of fraud. A young Cameroonian lady living in Belgium discovered via the link that she is registered in Cameroon and Belgium at the same time with a valid receipt. This implies her initial registration in Cameroon was not deleted. Xavier Bellime is a testimony to double registration. His case dates back in 2018. I registered in Douala 5, but I discovered my name in Denis in the Mbamban Inubu Division, Central Region, where I hail from. The registration in Denis was never deleted. We must talk about biometric system is fake. If the link termed accessible by ECHU days back, today faces accessibility issues. These political actors suspect ECHU is deliberately avoiding more discoveries and denunciations by Cameroonians who desire transparency to avoid tension. ECHU had earlier indicated in a communique dated March 13 they were working to better the functioning of the website for everything to move on smoothly.
And on to other news. Environmental pollution caused by the poor disposal of domestic waste seems to be the new normal in Cameroon. Cameroonians are already getting used to cohabiting with dirt. Despite the numerous health risks associated with this environmental degradation, experts argue that much of this waste can be recycled into valuable resources. Annabella investigates the challenges and opportunities in addressing Cameroon's waste management woes. Her report.
The sight of huge heaps of dirt dotted at every street corner in Douala and Yaoundé are no longer a surprise to people living in these big cities of Cameroon. The people now live with the hazards or consequences of pollution, especially on the health and environment. But do you know this waste which keeps polluting the air we breathe in Douala and Yaoundé can be recycled into more useful gadgets? Professor Kumbe Sone is an environmentalist.
From waste, we have derivatives that come out. And some of the derivatives, just as you properly put it, we have things like pavements, which are used for road construction. We have sleepers, we have bottles, we have buckets, we have umbrellas which are coming out from waste material, which can be reused. We can have houses. Like when we go in Botswana, houses are built out of plastic bottles, which is a derivative of waste, which would have been thrown. What we deploy is that we don't encourage burning of plastic because it further exacerbates the question of climate change. What we call in French, l'effet de serre, exacerbate it.
Besides producing household items, domestic waste can be used to increase agricultural production when used as manure. The environmentalist also says that before these waste material are recycled, they must be sorted for what it is needed.
Disposing waste in public and anywhere without sorting, because proper recycling of waste is to sort out waste, sorting out biodegradable, degradable, organic, and so on. We even have what we call electronic waste, which is not recycled, but some other countries recycle electronic waste, and which normally we are supposed to do that in Cameroon. So the government should impose a tax and follow up gradually to educate its citizens to know how they are supposed to dispose and sort out waste before disposing of. I think the state should do this.
He also thinks a tax or fine must be levied on whoever disposes of waste anyhow in the neighborhood. But Cameroonians are helpless. They seem not to know where to dispose of their domestic trash, since the Hygiene and Sanitation Company has systematically reduced its passage in various neighborhoods in Douala and Yaoundé to collect household refuse.
An unfortunate incident there. And now to Kutaba in the Nous division of the West region. Kutaba, with its fertile soil and favorable climate, has the potential to become a prime location for cocoa cultivation. However, local farmers are facing significant hurdles in accessing quality cocoa seeds and securing the necessary financial resources to optimize production. Orlando Patrick Kenfak reports on the challenges faced by these farmers.
Kutaba is an agricultural locality in the western region of Cameroon, known for its coffee cultivation. However, farmers here face many difficulties that affect their development, including the lack of seed and financial resources. While the demand for cocoa is increasing, producers are struggling to exploit these potentials. The Ministry of Agriculture launched a subsidy for cocoa and coffee production, but with priority of agricultural input rather than seed.
C'est les semences, from the semences.
We have problem of good seed because, as you can see, here at the corn stock, we are struggling of growing maize in this farm, but we have difficulties in obtaining selected corn seed and even good bean seed, which can enable us to maintain our cocoa trees.
Autre difficulté, c'est que
in addition to lack of seed, farmers face problem of access to water and the necessary equipment. Meanwhile, the land in Kutaba is an ideal place for growing cocoa, which could become a key sector if the authority come in with their support.
Les plants que vous avez vus là-bas en haut, les plants de cacaoyer, s'expriment.
The cocoa plant you saw over there are growing very well. All those who visit this farm, they are also interested to put cocoa sling in their farm. to experience as we do. It is not even experience. The result is there. Before we could say we are on highland, but when we see the result, we smile compared to the price of cocoa in the market. We take the risk of planting it in this subdivision.
Ils veulent les plants. Nous n'avons pas les moyens pour les satisfaire.
Despite the strong agricultural potentials, Kutaba is struggling to make full use of its land. Support from the state could enable the region to diversify its agriculture and strengthen its role in cocoa production.
The report done by Orlando Kenfak on the challenges faced by cocoa farmers in Kutaba and the Nous division ends this first part of the news. Talking Points is up next. My guest tonight on Talking Point is Denis MESUMBE ECHU. He is the president of the Taxi Drivers Union in Buea. Good evening, Denis. It's a pleasure to have you on Talking Point tonight.
Thank you, Immaculate Fogwe. I'm happy to be a partaker of Talking Point this evening. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure for me to be beside you this evening.
Denis MESUMBE, can you provide us with more insights into the shooting incident that occurred yesterday evening in Buea, precisely around Kawa Street, where 2 people lost their lives?
I'm happy for that question. I would like tell you what I know because I was not there when the incident happened at the point. But as a president of Township Taxi Drivers here in Buea, all the information that I got, because I went down there for the scene, at the place of the scene that yesterday. It happens around 4 minutes past 7 yesterday in the evening, when it was about heavy rainfall here in Buea that evening time. Around that 4 minutes past 7, my phone rang and I picked. I just like, President, where are you? Please, can you run and come down to Buea? This is what that is happening. This is what that is going on. I have to like drive from where I am down there to Buea. When I met one of my drivers lying on a tar, shot inside his taxi. So when I even like say, let me call the people that were around for me to even find out what happened that yesterday, that this man has been shot. So the information that we got that yesterday, that the unknown were passing. The unknown were passing. As I saw him as a driver with his taxi, they has to like bullet him. So I'm asking the population, or I'm asking us, where are we heading to? Where are we heading to? The other day, we had a meeting with other colleagues. We did a sensor. We have lost hundreds of drivers during this crisis. That is a sensor that we did. We have lost hundreds of drivers during this crisis. And that same that Buea, that was last 2 weeks, a car was still burned at Buea. The other, before the last 2 weeks, a driver was being butchered behind University of Buea. So I'm really asking us, the drivers, are we politicians? We are not politicians. We leave our house on daily basis, take our taxis and enter the street just to make our town to be a kind of lively place. But I don't know what is going on. For the people to go and look, the people that they are looking for them, they still turn and come back to us, the drivers, to us, for them to be murdering us as if we are not good, we are not even supposed to be on this society, or neither to like to be communicating, or in short, it's like we are a dead living creature. So I'm calling and I'm begging for the authorities, the government, please, they should see into this killing here in our municipality. The thing has been so rampant that even I, the president, I'm even like I'm short of words. I don't even know what to say again. I'm short of words.
Now, apart from ghost town days, do you feel secure driving in Buea as a taxi driver on regular days?
we feel safe on a normal day to move around with our taxis. But this Monday day that they said is ghost town. I will not lie. There are some words that when we are on social media, we cannot talk. But our decisions, or the decisions that we've been taken from this today with the drivers, I will not bring it on social media because the thing has gone out of hand. We are no longer safe again when it comes to any day that they said is what. We are no longer safe. We are no longer safe. And the authority, the law and order, they are there. They are there just to stop taxi and be telling drivers that cash gear book, but things are happening. They are not there. Things are happening and so on and so forth. But when they see you with their passengers on Monday days or any other days that they come up that is so and so day, they will stop you to do the right thing to identify those who are inside your taxis. They will say, open back book. As you left your steering to go and open back book, they say, give book. They say, settle control. Are we there to settle control? They are killing us on daily basis. You can't say, can't settle control. Number, how many control? We are settling the control to go to hell. To where? Is it a control to go to hell as they are killing us? Is it a control to go to where as they are killing us? So please, I'm begging, I'm down on my knees, I'm begging the authority here in Southwest, precisely here in Buea, where all this massacre is happening with the taxi drivers, that they should really see into our problem. Because if not so, one day all of us get up and do what we think the head of state will even like know that true we have been complaining since. And whereas it's like when we talk, our voice is not going far. So really I'm talking and I really want that this voice and this information, it should go far.
Despite separatist imposed ghost towns, regional authorities have consistently urged the population to carry on with their activities on Mondays, assuring them of security. Some went ahead to even call on the population to terrorize the tourists. That's the governor of the Southwest region, Benel Kalabilai. However, incidents like yesterday's shooting suggest that no town is truly safe, especially on Mondays. Why take the risk when danger looms?
That one, like seriously, what you just said or what you just asked. Obviously, that's why I said I will not tell any person not to go out on Monday day, but why going out on any other day that it says ghost town? Because I know, and I will sit down and I will say ghost town. Us here in Buea, we don't know what is ghost town, but we should be precaution when you are outside there. Let's take precaution on ourselves. Because we have complained to the authority The other day we been at checkpoint. We gathered at checkpoint. They want to mourn our drivers. The authority came and said we did not inform them, so they don't want to see such like that. We were there to mourn our drivers because for what is happening, for what is really happening in our municipality. So I want to tell the population, Oneda, to beg again from the authority, please, we need their help in our sector. We need the help of the authority. We need the help of the authority in our sector. Because without them, we can't do anything. Without the authority, that is reality. When I said we cannot do anything, it's like, I mean this, I take it this way. You know, without authority, everybody who wants to go left or right. And with in a town, in any other town, in short, in a town, we need peace and harmony. We don't want riots. We don't want a kind of tussling. That's why authorities are there to guide us. Authorities are there to educate us. Authorities are there to make our town not to be like a kind of a town of war. So that's why we are begging for the authorities. We should work together, and they should not be seeing us as if us the taxi drivers, we are nobody or we are not a human being. Authorities cannot work without taxi drivers. Taxi drivers cannot work without authority. So I'm begging for our cry to go far, because the rubbish, the massacre in our town, in this our Buea, was us, the drivers. In short, it's rampant. It's rampant. So I'm really begging, and I will not let me call this name. We are begging us, the drivers. We are begging for governors to see into our situation. I, Mr. Denis MESUMBE, I'm begging the governor to see into our situation.
Denis MESUMBE, given the repeated attacks in specific areas of Buea, have you identified certain locations as no-go zones for taxi drivers on particular days, which is Monday?
I'm begging the drivers here in Buea. We have Munya, we have Bomaka, we have My 16. When the crisis started, these are the three places here in our municipality that this crisis was really disturbing that area. And some of all these things is because of we want to have high balance. We want to have plenty money on one day. Please, there are some times that you don't hear money and you go because you want to have that money. When you hear the money, even like the things you even like, you walk your brain back before you want to go. What I'm saying, what I want to say, please, every day that we know that it's like this day are ghost town days, whereas we don't want the ghost town days. Avoid such place like that. Avoid going down to Bomaka, that Munya or neither My 16th at that kind time or at that time. Avoid you the drivers that they propose you money to go inside down that quarter. Avoid it. You don't know whether that money that they propose to you, that money will be the end of your life or whatsoever, and so on and so forth. Avoid it. Please avoid. We should learn to avoid going to such place, doing some ungodly acts. Avoid it, the drivers here in Buea. Avoid it. You can turn around. You can turn during the day. We have our municipality is big. You can turn up this way down the down that side, Bomaka precisely here in Buea. The government should really see something whether they want to open a base, a military base down there at Bomaka. It will be in short, it will be better for us. It will be better for us.
MESUMBE ECHU, President of the Taxi Drivers Union in Buea, Chief Town of the Southwest Region. Thank you so much for your time. And that's what put an end to today's edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for always choosing Equinoxe Television. Coming up next in some few minutes is the program Equinoxe, presented by Serge Alain Otu and his guest. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye for now.